Yeah.
All right, mate. You're going to ask a question. What were you going to ask? I'm meant to be interviewing you, but you ask
No,
the question. You kick it off.
it was just, there was a few things, and I was just thanking you again for your time, for my lovely talk earlier in the week. But as you say, this period of isolation is one of the few periods since you were a child where you've actually been in any one place for maybe more than 4 weeks. I suppose what I wanted to know is where that type of nomadic, tribal, traveller free spirit, where did that come from, Damien?
Look, I think for me, it just, I was born into it, like as a kid, we shifted around a lot and, moving states and houses and everything, So, look, I guess it's always just been embedded into me, but also I've always been an explorer, like when things happen in my household, I had to get out. I had to make good use of my time. So I always wanted to explore more. Plus, I would sit down in little rock caves on the beach and I'd watch, commercial airlines flying over and just think, where are they going? It's got to be better than this, like what else is out there? And I knew that at that point, it's not a place where I just wanted to stay for the rest of my life and stay in there. And also, I would listen to some of my mates' parents, they would either come home and say, oh, I hate that job. I hate doing this. I'm like, well, why do it? You've been doing it for 20 years. Oh, what else am I going to do? I'm stuck in this house. I'm stuck in this job. And I'm like, I'm never going to be like that, I want to experience as much as I can. And then it kind of led on to more wanting to find out who I was and what I was made of, I guess, so that's why I traveled around everywhere. And, was I a snowboarder? Was I a chef? Was I this? Was I that? Like just sort of just keeping on searching, and, and it's funny because people now think that that's why I keep doing it. They're like, oh, you got to stop. You can't stop because you're constantly searching for yourself and rada. You'll find yourself if you stop. But for me, it's well beyond that, and I just use what that is and I've turned it around to this is my positive and I've acknowledged the experiences that I've gained from being like that, instead of looking at myself as being different and being searching for myself, it's like, no, I've learned so much and I've explored so much more than someone else who's just in the same job, in the same house and staying there and doing everything exactly the same every day, and from traveling around for a while, like I'd go back to different places that I hadn't been to for a while, and the same people doing the same things, sitting at the same bar, talking to the same people, riding the same shitty bikes. And they would have no idea that of the time span it had been between. And some of these people had been 15 years and they're like, oh shit, I haven't seen you in a few weeks. And I'm like, few weeks? It's been 15 years. And they're like, like their life's just got away from them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I want to experience as much as I can in life while I'm able to, and be able to share that with other people as well and meet so many amazing people. And it's why I'm able to do these talks with so many different variants of people and different industries in different parts of the globe, because I get out there and I'll meet these people and I talk, and it's one of the things why I love traveling alone as well, because it makes you get out there and talk to people, talk to strangers, just have a good chat to whoever it is, you're not stuck to a routine. If you've got someone else there with you,
Yes.
you're living like I live by. Someone says, hey, you want to go here? Yeah, let's go. And I'm off and I'm gone, the next day sort of thing. I don't have to ask permission for anyone. Can I go here? Do you think we should? And have this big discussion of why we should or shouldn't. It's like, this person popped up for this reason. Yeah, sure, I'm going for it, find out what happens after there and stay for, 1 day, 1 month, whatever it is, and then continue on. Someone else pops up and we go, oh, I'm going to go and do this, or another idea, or someone says, come snowboarding here. Yeah, right, I'll go snowboarding there. You know what I mean? So I've all lived my life very freely, and what seemed like, seemed like a bit of a negative trying to find my place, is, in hindsight, it's been the positive for me and for other people around the world who still live vicariously through me. And it's being able to face like I'm able to face challenges a lot more easy because of traveling by myself and, you know, getting to places where I've ran out of money and spending, you know, 13 and 18 hours in an airport, sleeping on the floor and doing all those things. You know, it's, you know, you're in another country, you've got no money, or your credit cards aren't working and everything. You're like, shit, what are you going to do? So, you know, all those times, like, you know, they build up that resilience for me to be able to go, it's all right, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, and again, you know, material things have just got less and less in my life, and it's all about the experiences because I know the value that it's giving to me, and I know the value in it that I'm able to share with other people as well. You know, like I've trained with amazing people all over the world. I've trained at some of the best gyms and sports facilities that people would only dream of, you know, and I'm able to go there and, you know, just see incredible sights and everything, you know, like, you know, it's yeah, I mean, it's really amazing, you know, to be able to do that. And I don't look at it as a negative at all. And, you know, it just goes back to that way of people, like I said at the start, you know, people thinking I'm searching for something, I need to stop and this and that. It's like, nah, stopping for me is giving up on life. That's what I see as giving up, and you know, just going, sitting back and going, all right, I'm going to live a complacent life now. And that's just not who I am. You know, while I'm active and while I'm able to do this, I want to keep doing it, you know,
Absolutely.
as long as I can. And while you're able to run, while you're able to train, while you're able to do whatever it is, I want to be able to keep on doing it for as long as I can until I go, yeah, that's enough, you know, but I don't want to just roll over and, you know, put the arms and legs up and just go, that's it, you know, because, you know, I'm not ready to. I haven't, people say to me, where's the, you know, where's the one place in the world that that you would go to? And I'd say, well, that's what, the place where I'd never been. You know, that's what excites me. A place that I've never been to. You know what I mean? So, how do I know where I want to settle down to if I haven't seen everywhere?
Yeah.
You know, there could be somewhere else out there that's just like, this is it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
I have those moments at different parts of the world. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. And everywhere I am, you know, I get so much out of it, so much positive richness out of everywhere, whether it's a beach or whether it's here in Memphis with the music scene or whatever it is, you know, like I'm able to draw just such a positive connection to where I am, you know, and I just think, well, what else is out there? Like I've never been to Hawaii. I haven't been to Tahiti. I haven't, you know, there's so many different places that look absolutely incredible that I just haven't been to yet. And I just want to go there and I want to go and check them out, you know?
I love what you say there, Damien, about collecting experiences and not things. Because for me, in this current challenging situation we're all facing globally, one thing I would like to see for the better after this is to put people before profits. And I personally feel in some sectors of society, we've done it the other way round. And as you know, when we use people and love things instead of the other way round, it becomes a bit skewed. And what I love about your philosophy and indeed the way you've lived your life is you put going to places ahead of, say, collecting another fine timepiece or a car. Can you maybe stress again why collecting experiences in your experience is so valuable?
Well, that, I mean, that's what builds up of who you are and finding out who you are. You know what I mean? Just because you buy a Ferrari or just because you buy a flashy house doesn't mean to say who you are deep down inside, you know. And you may never know who you are. You know, you're living by the Joneses. You just want to have the better product than the person next door to you. But also, you know, the experiences, all of my experiences, where I go always has purpose, and it's the purpose to share. You know what I mean? Like if it doesn't make sense to me, I don't do it. And I always like to share because at the end of the day, that's what we leave behind. You know, what we can share with other people and what we can teach with other people, and the more knowledge and experiences that I can have, well, then the more I can share with other people. Plus, for me, it's not about, you know, I've never been one to read just self-help books or anything like that. You know, I'm more, I'll go out and experience rather than like I still read what people say and I take bits of information in that obviously gets me motivated to learn more, but I don't take anything as gospel until I know myself from personal experience of going to the extreme with it, you know, and that's why I do all these extreme endurance events. It's got very little to do with the events. It's about pushing my mind and body to far beyond what most humans do to be able to
Yeah.
find out how I get out of it and how I'm able to keep moving forward to be able to share that with other people. You know, the event themselves are just, you know, they're probably 5% of why I actually do them in the first place.
Yes. Damien, I know you've done many, many various endurance things, but of the different pursuits of that, is there one, how would you rate the challenges? I know some have been in the ocean, some have been on land. What have been the various difficulties that they've posed individually or maybe separately?
Yeah, look, I mean, they all have their own levels of difficulty in mind, body, soul, spirit, emotions, the whole lot. But nothing will ever compare to the paddle. You know, the paddle set up everything for the rest of my life and completely changed my life. And there's so many reasons why. You know, one is, you know, there's no solid ground underneath me. It's constantly changing. You know, it's not like like the skateboard, I could just get off and walk into a 7-Eleven. You know, nothing like that. There was no one around me. You know, barely ever anyone knew where I was at any given time. Um, you know, it was my first one. I'd never even ran a marathon. I hadn't done any endurance things that I had recognized at that time. But as we'd spoken about, like I'd always been an endurance athlete, but just not had that title to it. So to be able to do something, you know, and plus, you know, no one in the world had ever done it before. It was my first one. And the main thing is, you know, it was when I was release of the emotional pain of my past, you know, and for me that will never happen again because it's gone, you know, so it could never be again. So I could never be in that much physical, mental and emotional pain in my life again to be able to get through that, you know. So you know, I always say, you know, I'm forever grateful for the paddle. You know, it set a new standard and it set a new normal for me. So then the other ones, you know, they were about testing it. You know, the second one running around Phuket, that was about testing, you know, had those demons gone or were they going to creep back in? So how about I just push myself beyond any physical and mental pain barrier to see if any emotional pain was going to come up from my past. And then when it didn't, I was like, all right, I've got something here. Now I've got to work out what the hell actually happened in the ocean. So that's why I did my skateboard across the US, you know, and that was about giving myself that time to skate across and work out those tools along the way and start putting them into practice, you know. But that had its own challenges because there was other people with me who were so negative as well. So it was more difficult off the board than it was on the board for me, you know, with what was going on, where I'd just, you know, I'd spent a lot of money on that, trying to get a film put up for National Geographic. And you know, it was just so much negativity going against me with it. But I'd stay positive along the way until it got to a point where I just had to fire all of my crew, knew and I was going to lose, you know, 50,000 I've just put into this film to be made, which I lost completely, lost all that money, lost all the footage, lost everything from it. But I had to take that risk because, you know, I said I was going to skate Route 66 and that's what I was going to do, you know, and just before I got to that point of Mojave Desert was 127 degrees. When I was about to skate across there, and it was 2 days before, and I was like, I can't have all these negative thoughts in my head while I'm trying to do this because it's going to be tough enough as is. So you've got to go. So I had to make that choice just to get rid of them there and then and just continue on and do the skate, you know, and I ended up completing the skate and
Well
you
done.
know, so yeah, I mean, as the Mojave Desert was the part that I was really looking forward to because, you know, when do you ever get to go into that heat doing an event like that, you know? So the whole, you know, 40 days, 46 days leading up to that was kind of just like my warm up to what was going to come in that next 24 hours, you know, while I skated across there. So You know, so for the whole skate, you know, it's that 24 hours is the most memorable for me, and the reason why I did the whole thing pretty much. You know, I mean, it's cool that I skated it all, but you know, a lot of the magic of me wanting to skate that Route 66 was taken away from me from these people as well. You know, and most people don't understand that. You know, I feel like me skating Route 66 I was always destined to do that. You know, I'd skated most of my life. I'd always been into the nostalgia of Route 66 and muscle cars and everything like that, and the US, and giving myself that time, you know, to really skate across, and no one else in the world had ever done it before. And, you know, so it was, you know, it was something special for me that kind of got stripped away, you know, and I was just lucky enough to be able to redo it, but on a motorbike recently. And,
Cool.
but again, you know, it's, people say, you know, what event would you do again? You know, that's one event I'd probably do again. You know, I'd probably skate Route 66 again, but with no cameras, no filming, no nothing like that. Just get a couple of people and let's just go and skate it, you know, let's have fun and let's just go and skate Route 66 and just
I love
cruise
it.
along. You
Well,
know,
I'll be there,
I
brother.
think
If
that'd be
you need
cool.
a partner,
Yeah.
lovely. Honestly, you've said a few things, if I may, I'd like to pick up on. Very, very powerful. It's about who you surround yourself with, because I've realised this in my own life. Now, you said once the negativity got to a point, you had a tough call, my friend, to make. And indeed, it's these tough calls that some of us, I know people listening, you get a chance, and it's important to be brave enough, and I use that word bravery deliberately, to make them. You cut those negative people off, and people listening may have negative people or naysayers or haters, whatever, in their life. Can you just talk briefly on the power of who you surround yourself with, please?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm pretty selective. You know, it's a little bit more. You know, people, I guess, gravitate towards me and what I do, and you know, so long as you're saying, like, I'm pretty solid with who I am or what I am and what I'm doing now. Like, I don't compromise things. I know that people will come and go out of my life, and I really respect everyone who's in my life for however long they are there. But you know, as soon as there's a bit of bullshit going on, it's kind of like, all right, like I don't, you know, I'm not a people collector. You know, like I know a lot of people, and I've had a lot of good friends and that, but you know, I'm not a person collector. You know, and I just, you know, once there's something that's a bit off, or I can see, you know, the red flags going up, or you know, I just politely put them to a distance, you know, and just sort of just fade out. And like I know the signs now, and I don't let it get to that point, you know, where you're going to lose someone out of your life. You know, it's just pretty much like, you know, I'll just fade off and just drop off a little bit, you know, and I'll always do everything for anyone out there. But also when you know, it's funny when you're helping people, you know, it's a lot of the times, you know, they can turn on you in different ways, or they can misinterpret what you're doing when you're helping them as well. You know, which is something that I've had to really be careful of over the years, also with how I'm helping people and what I'm helping them with. And, you know, even though my life's about helping other people, and I'm all self-funded to do what I do help people no matter where I am in the world. You know, I'll still, if I do something in Bali, like a big paddle out, you know, I'll still get abusive messages on Facebook saying, why don't you do something for people in Australia? Why are you helping people in Bali? Like all this stuff, you know, like, like, what, well, for starters, is bloody racist. Like, what should it matter who I'm helping? You know, plus it's my money. I can help whoever I want, and I can't be everywhere at once at the same time. And I've done a lot for, you know, people in Australia, and you know, I just help people wherever I am. You know what I mean? But you know, it's kind of funny, or you know, people, when you do help people and you give a lot, you know, it's they become reliant on it, and then when you're not there, then you know, I find people are turning against you, you
Yeah.
know, and think that all your energy should be given to one person, rather than, you know, my energy is for a lot of people. You know, I'm looking at the bigger picture. Even though I help individuals along the way, I'll look at the bigger picture of what I want to achieve out of doing all this, rather than just that single person, you know, and it goes back to that saying people say, you know, what if I do this and it helps one person, it's all worth it. Well, for me, that's setting the bar too low. For me, it's I'm going to do this to help millions of people. You know, so I always push up that bar just that little bit more.
I like.
You know, I don't want to just help one person. You know, I want to help everyone. You know, as many people as I can while I'm here, because we don't know. You know, especially in recent times with what's going on now, we don't know how long we're going to be here for. We don't know what's going to happen. You know,
well said.
so it's you know,
I like
we just.
that. I really like that.
I live positive.
That's actually helped me with the realization. Thank you about pushing the bar, because I've just been very honest, as I always try to be in our lovely conversations. I've realized that I have used that as an excuse in my own life, as a form of self-sabotage. I've said, well, that video might have hurt one person, and indeed it may have, but that shouldn't be an excuse not to push the bar in an attempt to reach more people. So thank you. That has actually helped me there. Please, I often talk about this, but I would love to hear, you mentioned previously a very powerful word, I believe, and that's purpose. Can you speak more about purpose? Because I believe a man, or indeed a woman, we can almost metaphorically drown without it. And I'm thinking I used that reference because you did the paddleboard and so on. But purpose, can you tell me how an important role that word has played in your life, please, Damien?
Yeah, look, I mean, everyone's got their own purpose and a purpose, and people, I think, mistake purpose and a goal for being the same thing, but it's not really. Like a goal is something that you work towards. A purpose is just who you are. You know, so you helping an old lady across the road or giving someone a couple of bucks or whatever, that's your purpose. That's who you are, basically, you know. So it's about understanding. So it's about more understanding of who you are and your purpose and what you, I guess, want to give, you know, how you are of service to other people without expecting anything in return.
Yes.
You know, I think that starts to classify your purpose of why you're here and what you do, you know. And for me, after that paddle, that just became very clear. You know, it's my purpose. It's not something that, you know, I do a lot of things that I don't feel the need I need to share on social media. They just it's just who I am, and that's it. You know, it's like vegans. You know, so some vegans, they got to tell you I'm a vegan, or they go to a restaurant and go, have you got a vegan option, because I'm vegan. You know, and you're like, how long have you been vegan for? And you're like, a year. You're like, all right, that's it. But the ones that it's just their life and that's their purpose to, you know, to have care for animals or just eat plant-based, whatever it is. They don't need to talk about it all the time. They grab the menu and they look through and they know what they can eat. You know what I mean? They don't need to tell everyone in the restaurant that around, you know.
It's such a
and
good
that's
point.
their purpose.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just their purpose. That's just who they are. You
I
know,
always
they don't
said that, you
post it
know,
all the time. That's just it.
when you relate it to sort of particularly on the door, I was never really too fussed about the loudmouth bully. I was watching for the quiet bloke in the corner, because invariably when he went, it would be quite explosive and violent.
Yeah.
So I never used to give an F about the loudmouth telling me what he was going to do to me. I was watching for the bloke who was just going to slide up on me and do it. And there's a big difference, you know. There are those that say, oh, I've been to the gym 3 times this week, Damien. And you're like, I've just gone round the Atlantic, mate. But again, you don't have to say it. So beautiful thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, Damien, there was just another thing on the previous 3 things I picked out. You've spoken about the importance of who you surround yourself with. You've spoken about purpose itself. One more thing for me, please. It was, you said the nice thing about the new normal and how after your paddleboard, there was a new normal of standard for yourself. Can you talk about this? Because I feel a lot of people, particularly after this current challenge, there will be a new normal for them. How can we go about, if not preparing for that, coping with a new normal, whatever that may be?
Well, I mean, you can kind of look at that in 2 different ways. Like for me, there's a new normal, there's a new standard of what's possible and where I can push my body and where I can push my mind. Like for me, as I said, me skateboarding across the country or paddling around an island, that's normal for me. Me running a marathon, carrying a mattress, that's normal for me. But other people would go, that's crazy. I'm like, well, to me, it's not. That just seems like a normal thing to do. For me to do sun salutations or yoga poses for 24 hours, that's just normal for me, But the normalization with what's going on here, there's it's split in two ways with what's going on, I guess. There's a new normal for within yourself of your own growth that people are giving themselves in this time. People took that first 2 weeks out, I guess, that they were, it was party mode, there was off work, all that sort of stuff. But now it's about getting back into, people are starting to go, right, we're here for a bit longer now. I've got to start working on stuff. I'm running out of money. And then, so a new normal comes in a sense of who they become and their new purpose. That's their new normal. Whether they're a teacher, whether they're more into fitness, whether they're more into health, that's a new normal of how they're going to eat better, how they're going to move better, how they're going to be more grateful for the simple things in life that have just been taken away from us.
Yes.
That should come into everyone's thought pattern, But then there's the new normal of the uncontrollable, which is the government way, which is going to be a new normal, whether we're always going to, we're never going to shake hands again. We're always going to elbow bump. Those sorts of things should come in new normal, but that should be separate to your normal. You know what I mean? You can't control a lot of things around. What you can do is just control who you are and what you want to do and your purpose, your purpose of the new normal and how you adapt into everything else that's going on around. You don't need to take in everything that's happening and dissect it all out. So long as you've just got yourself, you got your purpose, you got your goals going forward, everything will adjust nice and easy, and you just adapt to whatever's going on, like the staying inside now or whatever, it's not, it shouldn't be looked at as you're stuck inside. It's like, oh, well, I've got all this time now. What can I learn? What can I do with it? It's just those simple little twists, and that's what becomes your new normal of, like I said, just that gratitude and what you can do now. A lot of people are learning new skills. They're learning instruments. They're learning art. They're, writing books. They're doing, podcasts and all sorts of stuff that they might not have done. So this becomes their new normal. And what it actually is they're just bringing up old skills, from what they used as a kid that they don't use in their daily life now because they don't think it's important. But now people are going back to their resources and everything's important. I understand that. And they're being able to use that and utilize that to be able to create that new normal in this space that is an uncontrollable surrounding for them. And so, so a lot of people will come out. Some will come out just the same, maybe a little bit bitter. Others will come out with an enhancement of skills. And again, that's their new normal. For me, pushing the limits and, going for 56 days non-stop, that's normal for me. For me to do something for 24 hours or 48 hours, to me is not much of a challenge. I know that's not too much of a mental challenge for me because, as I said, nothing's going to compare to that paddle, having that uneven surface underground and under my feet and all that. So it's, nothing will ever compare to that.
Damien, I'm very aware that there's obviously a huge cross-section of society. So when we talk about pushing the bar, I'm very mindful that some person, to go from being a couch potato to walking initially round the block before running and eventually moving on to greater distances, they would be pushing the bar, wouldn't they, by going round the block initially? How does somebody go from looking at what you do, from being a couch potato, let's say, somebody who up until this current crisis, they didn't work on their fitness. So to go straight out and do a marathon is downright imprudent because their fitness isn't there. But yet they would feel almost ashamed at their current level of fitness. So going round the block doesn't feel enough. How do you build in, I suppose, sensibly pushing the bar with wisdom? Have you got any advice on that?
Yeah, I just look to the extreme. I like work things backwards, like this is what I want to do. How am I going to achieve it?
Right.
And it's as simple as it is. I want to run a marathon. All right, or I'm sitting on the lounge and I can't do anything at the moment. All right, what do I need? I need to put on my runners to start off with. And I need to start moving. Like, how far can I actually go, right? And then once you get to that distance, go, right, what work do I need to do? I need to put in the work, okay? And then just start working towards it and start pushing towards it. And once you do, you're like, oh, well, I'm just about there, and then generally, like, for me anyway, I'd start looking at things like, even before I'm at that event, go, well, yeah, I'm looking further ahead. What am I going to do after this one? I haven't even finished this one yet. What can I do that's bigger than this? Because I know I'm going to do this. So I always look at things in such a positive way, and like never a negative and never self-doubt. It's like, well, I'm going to do this. Cool. Right. I'm getting close. I can feel my body's ready. I'm going to do this. All right. What's next?
Yeah.
And that's came from the paddle. After the paddle, I just thought I was going to go back to my normal job and just do what I do, but because everything changed, I just started just pushing that a little bit more, but really not just pushing the limits to see what I can get out of my own mind and body, but about how I can translate that to such a positive for more people. I realized that what I was doing was far bigger and far greater than just myself and just the events and just the raising awareness of child abuse. It was far greater than that. So, that's why, I have that thing of not just helping one person, but helping millions, and do these events so they can help millions and put out films and books and stuff so they can help the wider audience, not just so I can grow my own social media followers and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
This is really huge because I believe, obviously, is it fair to say you place great importance on having big goals?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
like unlimited. Yeah.
I only say that, I suppose, to lead into this because I was rereading recently a book by a chap that was known. He was in the property the field, an American real estate developer by the name of Grant Cardone. And one of his philosophies is 10x everything. So he said, whatever you're currently thinking about, like 10x that, exactly what you're saying. So for the person that's literally contemplating going around the block, start thinking already about your first 10K, your first half marathon. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you got to work towards it. You need something that you're working towards. You can't just, otherwise you're just doing, all right, you're single thinking. You're not reaching that higher goal, and some people go, I don't know what my goal is. I don't know what I'm aiming for. You're like, just look as far ahead as you can, even if it's like a blurred vision right now, and then just go, right, how am I going to get to whatever that is, right? And then just start doing it, and things just become clearer and become easier, and the steps in place just become more intuitive of how you're going to get there because you're looking at that further goal out rather than the short one.
I like that. I like that big picture thinking because I think something, and I've been guilty of it many times in my own life, Damien, in only focusing on the next step, as much as that is important, like what am I going, when is my next protein shake today, by coming away from the bigger picture, say previously fighting about, say, one's opponents, you can get distracted. And I only say that to say this, the distractions, as you know, they could be many, but not necessarily important. What's so-and-so watching, your neighbours inviting you over for a braai or a barbecue. But if you're only focused on today, you could say, oh, well, just a couple of beers won't help. But if you're focused on the big picture, my opponent, I thought, would my opponent be drinking now? No,
exactly.
Then neither can I. So I like what you say there. So again, would you stress the importance of having a big, audacious, hairy goal in front of people?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I go everything big, you know what I mean? And just start working towards it. Even if I'm writing a film script or writing a book or whatever it is, you're like to think, shit, got to get started. Oh my God, what's the first word? It's like, nah, right, this is what I'm going to do. And then once you get started, you see that it doesn't take that long, you're away. And then you break things back down, and it's the same as say you're going to do a big run. you know, I always break it back down into an easy form, you know, like say if it's, I don't know, let's just say you're on a 10K run, you know, and then you get through 1K, then I'll say to myself, oh, it's only 9 more of those. And then I'll get through, say, 5K, and I'm like, well, it's just another one of those, you know, so
Lovely, yeah.
it's broke it down in just easy form and such a positive way. Like, you know, you can always twist everything around it. You can either look at it as, oh, geez, I've got 5K to go, or, oh, I've just already done it, so this should be easy. Then you get to 6K and you're like, well, I'm well over halfway, so there's no reason I can't do this last 4. So I've done more than it.